Well, as it normally is, when you come back to YouTube after some time away, be it 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, or 2 years. In this case, it's been a couple of weeks. It's never easy, and there has to be a right place and a right time, and now's that time. So I am just at the gym. It is Sunday. I don't have my watch on because I've been dealing with anxiety, and when I go in the gym, I don't want anything bringing my workout to a screaming halt. And sometimes when I am suffering from some real anxiety about what I'm doing with my life, about whether the decisions I'm making at the moment are right and helping me move forward rather than stay stuck or move backwards, which is even worse. In those times, my anxiety can go through the roof, and if I'm doing some physical exercise at the time, which is causing my heart rate to be upwards of 140, 150 beats per minute, I can manifest in my brain a panic attack, and I'll look down, and I'll be in a heightened state, physically and mentally, and the thing that throws me over the edge and makes me, like I said, bring my workout to a screaming halt is looking down at my watch and seeing that my heart is going crazy, which is what I want. I mean, that's what I actually want out of my exercise, but couple that with the overactive mind and it can throw me off. And so I'm not wearing my watch at the moment. Hopefully I can get back into a healthy spot where I feel confident enough to wear it, because the analytics and what I get from it are useful. But when you're treating your body unhealthily, those markers are not going to make you feel that good. Either way, guys, those are some thoughts. Those are some initial thoughts. All right, so I'm sitting outside. It's Sunday. It's the day of the NRL Grand Final, and I have lived, so-called lived, in Townsville for a week and a half, coming on 2 weeks, and I'm going to say that it feels like 2 years. This last 2 weeks has, initially for the first couple of days, it was, a novelty. I was in a new place. I was excited, and then I got my accommodation, which hasn't been hugely ideal, but it was quick. I got it quickly, and I didn't have to pay for hotels. So I've saved a bit of money in that respect. I paid for a month up front, and I said to myself, right, you've got a month to make this shit work. You're in Townsville now. I came here because the plan in about 6 months' time is for Miffy and my 2 girls to move here. They have a huge amount of support here, and it would make sense. I'm not going to say it's a huge city with a huge amount of opportunities, but it's certainly got more available than the likes of Alice Springs. But having been here for 2 weeks, I've got a motorbike, so I've been able to explore. I paid for Ubers for the first 2 or 3 days, and I thought, fuck this, I've already spent about $200. I've got to try and get something sorted. And so that's exactly what I did. I managed to find a motorbike on Marketplace. I bought that for $2,500, with the view of using it for as long as I needed it, but selling it when I moved up to a car, or I worked out where I was going to be working, whether I needed the bike or not. It was basically well, look, it's came in handy. It's come in handy now, but what it feels like to me now to own an asset here in Townsville is actually something that's holding me back. I want the ability to leave Townsville, actually, without a trace. I want to well, basically what I've got to do now is just work out what I'm going to do. Like I've had 3 or 4 job interviews for full-time roles that are suitable and pay enough and would allow me to, work on getting a rental property and a car and building that life here. But having been here for a couple of weeks and seeing exactly what Townsville's all about, which is not much, and also being here on my own when my kids are over in Alice Springs, it's like, I don't know if I'm prepared to do that. I feel like half of me says, and this is something that I never expected to happen, but half of me says that I would prefer to live in Alice Springs than Townsville. And that's not just me. I'd prefer my kids to live in Alice Springs than Townsville. But I am at a point now in my life where if it doesn't feel right, it doesn't feel right, and I'm going to trust my gut. I'm going to trust my instinct. And if I had have really felt connected to this place after 2 weeks, it'd probably be surprising. I mean, I don't think that's reasonable to expect that, but I'd want to have felt a little bit more settled and a bit happier than what I do now. Especially having gone to these job interviews, and a couple of them have asked me where I want to be in 2 years or 5 years, and they've told me straight out that, look, if you were to leave this position within 2 years, it would be a massive waste of time and money on our end. And I thought to myself, well, fuck, if you're telling me that, and I'm sitting here thinking, I don't even know if I want to be here next week, let alone next year or 2 years down the track, I've got to start trusting my gut. I've got to start making decisions and making them fast, because otherwise it's just time wasted and money wasted. So I'm here 2 weeks in, and I know this series is about alcohol, but this is it's also about my life. And being that today is day 77, I have been tackling this issue. I've been struggling through this. I have been battling alcoholism for the last 11 weeks, and I've broadcast that on this channel. And so I've got less than 2 weeks to turn this around, less than 2 weeks to tell myself once and for all that I do not drink, that I am a non-drinker. And my goal, guys, is to wake up tomorrow morning and bring out the camera and admit that I am powerless over this, and that it's not for me, and that I actually want to get to know who I am without alcohol, because the person, or the shell of a person that I'm transforming into through drinking every day is not a nice place to be up here. And it's my physical health is deteriorating and everything's gone to shit, and I can't think straight to save myself. And I think that being here in Townsville, unfortunately, as we all know, geographical change is not going to be the catalyst to you quitting a substance. It's just not. It has to happen in here, and it doesn't matter where you live, doesn't matter where you are. Obviously, having support around you is going to help, which I don't have right now. So I'm sorry to say that I have been drinking every single day for the last couple of weeks. But I've come back to making these videos. I've come back to the channel because I feel as confident and as prepared as I ever have been about waking up tomorrow morning and admitting what I just said before, and saying wholeheartedly, I do not drink anymore, and just having to accept that. And also accepting the fact that, look, if you've made the wrong decisions, if you've, jumped the gun, so to speak, that's okay as well. It's, that's okay. And I feel like I have done that. I certainly have. So I've jumped the gun. I've made geographical change thinking that it was going to be the ticket. It hasn't been. And all I want to do right now is to get back with my kids and enjoy day-to-day life, rather than always thinking down the track, always thinking about a year on and 6 months on. I'm just not in the space to do that, and I don't want to do that. I just want to enjoy life, and I'm not enjoying it here. I'm just simply not. I don't have any support, and the only thing that's keeping me on the straight and narrow is on the days that I do, I come to the gym and I get a good workout in, I get a good sweat up, and as we all know, I never leave feeling worse than when I went in there. But yeah, we're about to do it today. We're about to jump back on the bandwagon. It's funny, I've spent time in Cairns, I've spent time in Rockhampton, I've spent time in Townsville, and neither of them, they're all decent in their own right, but neither of them have really struck me as being like, oh fuck, I'd really love to build the rest of my life here, you know. And I don't know whether that's ever going to happen. Or maybe that can only happen, maybe my brain can only, you know, start to feel those kind of things once I've removed alcohol for a period of time. I feel like that's, you know, yeah. So, as a lot of you know, once I've made a decision, it's very hard for me to talk myself out of it. I don't know what would need to happen over the next couple of weeks for me to stay here. But funnily enough, the girls and Miffy have actually gone to the NRL Grand Final down in Sydney. Their family live up here in Townsville. Her family's gone down there to the Grand Final. They're going to go and watch it today. And then on Tuesday, I think they're going to be making their way up to Townsville for a few days. And then they are going to be flying back to Alice Springs. So funnily enough, I am actually going to be able to experience what Townsville's like with my kids here. And I'm going to not be drinking throughout that time. And I'm just going to have to just see. Look, I've said everything I've said today. And I'm pretty sure that I'm going to go back to Alice Springs and just continue my life there and just continue being a dad, which is more than enough for me. I don't need much. I don't need much, guys. But it will be interesting to be able to, you know, see what kind of activities there are on offer here. Because I mean, it's been lovely weather, I must admit, absolutely lovely weather. But it's not the middle of summer yet, and the middle of summer here in the north of Queensland can be pretty fucking hectic. So I'm gonna plan over the next couple of days what activities we want to do. I think there's a few things that I want to do with them, and so that's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to that, but I'm going to have to voice the way that I'm feeling to them and also to Miffy, because I need to, you know. I can't keep shutting this shit in. So I will briefly make another video once I leave the gym, but it is a cardio, back and bicep day, and let's go and do it. Right guys, it's just past 10 o'clock, 12 past 10, and I need to bring this reality to you guys, and I need to bring it to myself. I need to document this shit because I've done it again. I thought by all means I would have enough alcohol to fuel me tonight. Unfortunately, I drank just that little bit too quickly, and it led me to wanting more. And that is what I need to, look, hey, I've got to give myself some credit where credit's due. There have been nights that I've stopped at, 6 or 7 standard drinks. And I've thought that's enough. But inevitably, if you're drinking every single night, there are going to be anomalies, and there are going to be nights where 6, 7, 8 standard drinks, even 10, 12 standard drinks is not enough. And tonight's one of those nights, and being that it's my last night, being that tomorrow morning I'm going to wake up and I'm going to tell myself, you are a non-drinker, you do not drink anymore. I don't know where I was going with that, but I've gone out and I've walked to the only bottle store in town that was open. I went to one that was meant to be open, it was closed. I went to a second that was meant to be open, it was closed. And I went to a third, and if that was closed, that was my last shot. It was open. I bought a bottle of wine. I've had 14 standard drinks tonight. This bottle of wine, my last fucking bottle, my last hurrah, you could say, has 6.8 standard drinks. That means tonight I will have consumed 20 standard drinks, which is more than I've consumed in a single night for a couple of weeks. And it's because it's my last night, I couldn't say no. It's like, I don't want this night to end. You know what I mean? I don't want it to end. I don't, because I'm giving, it's like a breakup. You don't want, You don't want them to go because all you're remembering are the good times, and that's exactly what I'm doing right now. So I've got a full bottle of wine to fucking finish, and I'm gonna finish it. I feel kind of ashamed, but I'm in a safe place, and this, I've got to finish this thing in my own way, and so yeah. Look, I just had to make this video. The other thing I want to mention is that on my way to the bottle store, I walked past probably 6 or 7 clubs, bars that were pumping, and I wanted to line up and get in there, and I wanted to mix and mingle. But do you know what I really want? I want to be walking down that same street at the same time next week, sober, and do it. And do the same thing. Get in there and fucking mix and mingle, sober, and just take it all in. I really want to do that. That's going to be a challenge. I'm going to have to challenge myself to do that, but I think it's going to be an enjoyable experience. Or maybe the opposite, completely unenjoyable, and I will not want to do that again. And I'll see, finally, because I've never been out sober. I'm 32 years of age. I've never ever been out to a bar or a club sober, and so that is something I really want to try. And look, I've got to be okay with the fact that, hey, if I get in there and 10 minutes later I want to leave, that's all right. But this is a big step, and this is something I need to do, and I need to thrust myself into that. So tonight's been interesting for many reasons. I really enjoyed the rugby league tonight. I really enjoyed my workout today, and I've got to get out there, man. I've got to get out there. I've got to mix and mingle. Just got to start living, man. Just got to start living. So I am signing out, guys, on the 1st of October 2023. It is 10:17 in the PM, and I will see you guys tomorrow. I'm going to be fighting through a hangover, but in a funny way. I kind of want that, because I do need it to be drilled into me that this is just not for me, this substance, and I guess we'll just see how things go. So I'm gonna edit this video now. I'm gonna get it on the channel, and I will see you guys in the next one. 77 days we've been battling this. 11 weeks. 11 weeks. Goes like that. And I don't want the next 11 weeks to feel like they've just flown by in a blur, because that's exactly how I feel about the past 7 weeks, and that 11 weeks, sorry. Did I say? I better cut this off now. Puts you in a good mood, puts you in a content mood, but only when you're on it. And inevitably, you wake up the next morning, you're withdrawing, and you're not on it. And the only thing that's going to get you back to that mindset that you really enjoy, you tell yourself you really enjoy, and it's really rewarding and great, and it takes away all your inhibitions, well, the only way you're going to get back to that is to continue drinking, and that's certainly not sustainable. So thank you, guys. Thanks for sticking with me. We've almost got 350 subscribers. I think we're at 346 at the moment. And stay tuned, man. Stay tuned, because we're going to level up. There's no other option.